guys, welcome to 2014, and this is the first video I'm going to do this year. Paul Revelia from Pro Physique, if you don't know me, and those of you that do know me. I wanted to do a different kind of a video because my typical videos that I like to do are fun events that are going on in my life, or some good lifts in the gym, or if I attend like a bodybuilding show and I just want to show you what's going on. But I was talking to a good friend of mine the other day, Ron Parmiter. If you're not familiar with Ron, look up his YouTube videos, Diesel Parm. Awesome bodybuilder, awesome guy. And we got to talking a little bit about training, and I told him what was going on in my life in the last month, and that I had been a little bit depressed, and he asked, why hadn't I put out a video, is how the topic came up. And I said, I've had like a bad month. December, it's just been bad. And so I'm going to wait till I do some good stuff before I do another video. And he's like, dude, that's the kind of stuff that people want to see. Everyone's putting out videos of them lifting and everything's going great. And I hold myself to a pretty high standard, as does Ron. But Ron went through a bicep tear earlier in the year, and he's back. And he did a lot of videos about his journey, and it actually benefited a friend of mine who tore his bicep tendon. So I wanted to go ahead and talk about what went on in December that kind of got me bummed, and I got a little bit retracted from social media. I kept up with my clients, and I kept up with family and friends, and I wasn't by any means down on any of that. My life is very blessed, but I take a lot of pride in the effort and the work that I put into the gym and my physique and building it and improving. And so when things start to go wrong, I got down a little bit. So I wanted to talk to you about that a little bit. So as some of you may know, I had a leg injury which required me to stop training legs, and I did so for 3 months, 12 weeks, which doesn't sound that crazy, but when the biggest area for improvement that I feel I need to make is both leg strength and leg size, and then you don't train them for 3 months, the idea of it was difficult until I did it. Once I made the conscious decision that, I'm not going to train legs for 3 months, I'm going to let this heal, I'm doing something in the interest of getting better, then it was okay. I started doing a heavy chest and back program. I made some great progress. I have a video. I actually was able to bench 400 pounds with a pause. And so, despite the fact that I wasn't able to train legs, I was making progress, and I was in a good mood, and I was happy. And I was even deadlifting during this period, because it didn't aggravate the injury, which was an adductor strain that was very bad. So at the end of the 3 months of not training legs, I went back in the gym, and I started doing, I wanted to be very safe. I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to re-hurt myself. So I started with just doing some leg presses and some leg curls. I didn't go immediately into squats. After a couple sessions of leg press, I started doing some very light front squatting. And then, I just gradually worked my way up, and then one day I said, screw it, today's the day. Got nice and warm, and I went in and did a squat, and lo and behold, nothing bothered me. The problem that I was having before was my left leg. The adductor was so strained that I couldn't drive off of it, so I was shifting and kept getting injured. And I went to the doctor, I got MRIs, I did everything possible to get it resolved. But the only thing that let it resolve was the rest. So then I started squatting a little more frequently, still being very, very conservative. And then I decided, I was squatting about 3 times a week, conservative weights, but still nowhere near impressive. And I said, I'm going to try a Smolov base mesocycle. For those of you that aren't familiar with Smolov, it's a Russian squat program. The guy's a maniac. The percentages are very high. You squat 4 days a week for the first 3 weeks. So I think I squatted 12 times in 19 days, if my math is correct. Regardless, it was very difficult. I set myself a max. Okay, so I went in one day to the gym and I said, let's just see what I can get up to. And I got up to a comfortable 315 pounds. It was difficult. By no means was it easy. I may have gotten a few more pounds out of it, but I was like, this program's pretty intense, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at 315. I wouldn't have gotten 345 or anything like that. I may have gotten like 325 or something. But so I was happy with that. So, and I took the conservative approach on Smolov. I did the intro microcycle, which is just a 2-week period where you squat Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. No big deal. The weights are pretty reasonable. The reps are pretty low. And then I got started on the base mesocycle, which was a monster. It doesn't look that bad on paper. You're like, oh, these numbers are okay for the first week, but it doesn't increase by percentages. Instead, it just goes up by weight. So the second week, you're doing everything 10 pounds heavier. The third week, you're doing everything 15 pounds heavier. So when you're squatting a low weight like I am, those are big jumps. So it got very difficult. It was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday I was squatting. And on Saturday was 10 sets of 3, and the final Saturday was 300 pounds. So with my squat being 315 pounds, I was to do 30 reps of 300 on the last day. Didn't seem unreasonable because I've squatted 400 pounds before, albeit that was my all-time 1 rep max, got it at a powerlifting meet. So I know I have the potential to put on some strength relatively quickly. This isn't anything to do with why I got depressed or anything like that. So here comes. So I get to the last day of Smolov and I complete it, and it's awesome. You're supposed to take a week off. Well, I had scheduled it because I had a friend's bachelor party. So I had scheduled it so that I could be gone for a week, come back and do Smolov. So I went to the Keys with a couple friends in early December. Went down there for a couple days, did the typical thing. It was kind of rainy there, but we went out drinking and had our fun, and I didn't get enough sleep, and you know, I just ran myself into the ground a little bit. I still managed, you know, to eat fairly good, but you know, just the change in schedule, I don't know what it was. I came back that Monday and immediately got sick. And for 3 days, I just had very little appetite. You know, I probably was running a little fever. I needed a lot of sleep. By the end of the week, I started to feel good. So I was thinking, okay, let's go. Get on the scale. I had lost 6 or 7 pounds of legitimate weight, not water weight, you know, because just from under eating and not training. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to rerun the final week of Smolov, and then I'm going to test it. So sure enough, Monday I felt pretty good. I was able to rerun the final week of Smolov. However, the last day that I was to run, I was going on another bachelor party. You know, it's life, you know, and it's one of my closest friends. Both these guys were 2 of my closest friends, and I had agreed to this, you know, 5-6 months ago. So this time we flew out of the country to Costa Rica. I didn't want to repeat what happened in the Keys, but Costa Rica is a freaking third world country. We flew into San Jose. You know, I don't want to talk bad about Costa Rica. It's a beautiful damn place, but it is a third world country. And so on the last day, I noticed that my digestive system wasn't working like it should. If you catch my drift, I was on the toilet a lot. Got home, and I felt okay. I never got like a fever or sick, but I had no appetite. I was on the toilet, and after a few days of this, I just realized I must have had some kind of a stomach bug. I couldn't keep any food down. It was just going straight through me. I got a little dehydrated. I actually got to the point where I was 16 pounds down from when I left. So now, I've completed Smolov twice basically, and I was supposed to take a week off and test. This time around, by the time I started feeling good again, I was 16 pounds lighter. And I got very, very frustrated. No one to blame but myself. You know, this is life, but these kind of events, you know, they come and they go. And so now we're in towards the end of December. It's getting towards Christmas. It's getting towards the holidays, and I'm trying to get on a schedule. And you know, we have to drive to Tampa. We got to drive back to Jacksonville. We're driving to Orlando. I'm going all over the place, basically, just to you know, for the holidays. And I had a wonderful time. And lo and behold, I finally got in a consistent groove. I was able to repeat the final week of Smolov for the 3rd time. Got through it relatively okay. I was still about 10 pounds down from when I started Smolov. But I think at that time I was starting to get some of the strength back. And just recently I retested my max, and I got a 345 squat, which I hold myself to a pretty high standard. 345 on a squat is pretty piss poor. You know, I mean, if you go into a typical gym and you see somebody squat that much, I personally would be impressed. But considering the caliber of people that are my peers, Lane Norton, Ron Parmeter, Doug Miller, Matt Liller, you know, I could name names forever, Alberto Nunez, you know, these guys, Ryan Doris, they inspire me. They're my friends, but they're also my peers. And so these are my guys that I compare myself to, not the guys that I see in the gym. I don't notice anybody in the gym, you know. So it got me down for a while, you know, and I started to pull back from the whole social media thing because I just wasn't feeling it. And After talking to Ron, I realized, you know what, the advice that I'm giving other people that would be in my situation would be to just stick with it. It's a small window. You've got a lot of opportunity for improvement, and everyone goes through these little down periods, whether it be nagging injuries or whether it be getting sick. Regardless, I'm in a good place now, and I just wanted to put this out there because I'm not invincible, you're not invincible, nobody is, we're all vulnerable. And so if anybody out there is fans of mine or, you know, just enjoy the sport, I just wanted to remind everyone that we all have these moments from time to time. We all have these down periods, but they're only down periods if you let them keep you down. If you decide that you want to fucking squat 500 pounds the way I feel, that's only going to be a small fragment of your life, and I'll look back on it as, you know, a warrior's test. You know, like, this is something that I got to get through. And so, with that said, I'm starting a new program today. My good friend Ben Esgro has designed a daily undulating periodization program for me. I'm going to be benching, squatting, and deadlifting. I am completely healthy. I am doing prehab. I am doing stretching. I am staying loose. I'm listening to my body. I'm eating like a champ, taking my supplements. I got my core flex, making sure my joints are good. Taking my core alpha, making sure my hormones are good. And it's just a really good, I just feel like I'm at the precipice of something really good. You know, the most I've ever squatted in my life is 400 pounds. So to say that I want to squat 500 pounds is probably ridiculous. You know, I don't plan to do that anytime soon. But my goal right now is to squat 405 because 4 plates, that's pretty cool. So this is where I'm at. So I'm going to film, I probably already filmed it by the time I put this up, but I'll have filmed some of the training for my first day, the new program, and I'm pretty excited. Ben's doing all my power lifts, bench, squat, and the deadlift. I'm going to be doing all my own hypertrophy setup. And we'll see. I mean, you see guys like William Grazione, who's getting ready to do a powerlifting meet, just got done with a program from Ben, a block, and all his numbers are up really nicely. So I've experienced DUP myself, both, but I haven't done a squat yet. So I'm very excited because Smolov does not undulate. Smolov just hammers the crap out of you. So I'm excited to see how my body responds to the program that Ben Esgro wrote me. So if you have any questions, comments below, like, subscribe, whatever you want to do, and I'm going to start doing more videos regardless of if I'm, you know, king of the world or if I'm living in the gutter. I want to keep as much of my real life on here and not try to be always doing stuff that's just great and it's just wonderful. You know, sometimes life isn't great and wonderful. Sometimes you're going to have challenges, and you got to look at the big picture. You know, overall my life is very good, and so I can't let myself get too far down because of you know, these little setbacks. But I do plan to overcome them, and when I do, I'll be pretty damn excited about it and pretty proud of myself. But then I'll just set the next challenge. So regardless, I want to say thanks to Ron for kicking me in the ass a little bit and telling me to get on the videos again. And if you guys have any video requests, I've got some ideas in my head for stuff that I'm going to do. But right now, it's 2014, getting ready to go to Australia for the Australian VIP camp with Lane Norton. So you know I'm going to be shooting a ton of video there. Looking at going to the Arnold for a couple days, so you know I'll shoot some video there. But if you guys have anything specific you want to see, cooking, cleaning, playing with my dog, you know, anything like that that relates to my life, just give me some ideas and I'll shoot some videos. But until then, let me know what you think of the squatting. It's getting a little better. I'm never going to be a great squatter, but I'll be a great squatter compared to what I used to be. So with that said, thanks guys. Check my website out, prophysique.com. I just made some upgrades to it. Thanks to my my web designer, Robert Fahey. He's getting me going. We're getting some new things coming out. And 2014 is going to be a great year. One more thing. Go Auburn, all you Florida State fans out there. I'm going to put this video out tonight before the game, so I'm sorry for whatever happens to you. Unfortunately, my wife also graduated from Florida State, so we got a little bit of a house divided situation going on. But that's okay, because she's going to go to bed tonight before the game's over, because she's 6.5 months pregnant, so she won't be up too late, so I won't have to rub it in her face. All kidding aside, I just hope it's a good game. But War Eagle, later.